Welcome to the 8th part of this section on teaching using humor. In this part, we'll look at student-generated humor. Here's a shift in perspective. If you are the only one creating humor in your classroom, you are doing too much work. When teachers create humor, students enjoy the lesson. But when students create humor, they learn more deeply. Why? Because creation requires active language use, decision-making, and experimentation. It moves students from passive receivers to active users of language. Language is not learned by watching. It is learned by using, and humor creates a natural reason to use language. Give students an idiomatic expression. It's raining cats and dogs. Ask them to translate it literally to their mother tongue. They will produce something absurd, and they will laugh. Then ask, does this make sense? Now you can introduce the idea of idioms, and they will be ready to embrace it. Students understand. Meaning is not always literal, and language depends on context. This is deep learning. Here's another exercise for you to try out in class. Ask students to create a meme using a grammar mistake, a confusing word, and a common learner error. For example, we see the image of a threatening alien war general. They can find it on the internet. They could use a well-known template, if they know one, of course. Or they could just draw them directly. The text can read, "All your base are belong to us." Students laugh when they notice the mistake. Then they correct, "All your base belongs to us." It works very well because it combines visual thinking, language processing, and creativity. For a third activity you can call a bad English competition, students create intentionally incorrect sentences. For example, "She don't can speak." Then other students identify the errors and correct them, and explain why they were wrong. That creates a shift in the class. Mistakes become safe, a shared element, and useful. Fear decreases, and participation increases. One more activity to make your students create humor is by transforming a dialogue. Take a serious dialogue or interaction. Ask students to rewrite it as comedy. They must understand the original, modify its tone, and use creative language. Here's an example of a formal or non-humorous interaction. "Could you please pass the salt?" And one of the possible funny transformations. "Excuse me, without that salt, my meal has no future." Student-generated humor builds collaboration and strengthens group identity and communication. But it must be guided, for if it is not, it might be turned into just some divertment unrelated to the lesson. Your role is not to control the humor. Rather, it is to guide it, frame it, and keep it safe. You can set some rules to prevent unwanted outcomes. One of the most important ones being, we laugh with each other, never at each other. Now let's explore some common challenges you can encounter on this matter. If your students hesitate, start with structured tasks so they get an example of what you want before leaving them more space to get creative. If humor becomes inappropriate in your lessons, you need to set boundaries. This is better done before the problems begin. If some of the students dominate the conversation or don't let others express themselves, you can either set group dynamics or have them speak in turns. This approach gives you room to evaluate language accuracy, creativity, and participation. Humor does not replace learning objectives. It supports them. When students create humor regularly, they take more risks, they speak more, and they become more confident. They begin to see language and language lessons by extension as flexible instead of fixed. When students create humor, they are not just learning the language. They are playing with it, testing it, owning it, and that is when real learning happens. In the next part, we'll discuss when not to use humor. The Optimo project has been co-funded by the European Union.